going to turn 90 degrees. Watch your step coming onto the stone, and then there's a step up on both sides onto the greens. We're going to carry all the way to the end. Good, keep carrying, gentlemen. Right there. Now you're welcome to place your boot in your rocket basket spray, and then step back into your families. Brothers and sisters, you're welcome to grab a chair and come out in the sun. You're welcome to sit down where the chairs are. You're welcome to social distance as much as you like.
Okay, I'd like to welcome you all here. What a beautiful December day to pay tribute to a wonderful woman, wonderful sister, wonderful mother, wonderful grandmother. So grateful for this opportunity to be here today and with you. And I want to thank Chris and Steve for the opportunity they've given me to be a part of this service today. What we'd like to do is we're going to have Chris Burton read the obituary. After he's done doing that, there will be a musical selection, Abide With Me by Bailey, Macy, and Jody Anderson. And then we're going to have an opportunity for whoever would like to come up and share any thoughts or comments that you would like to about Janet. We're so grateful for her and for the life she lived and the example that she was to each one of us. And please feel free when we have that time to come up and share your thoughts. And then we will have the dedication of the grave by Barry Homestead, who is a nephew of Aunt Jan. And I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Randy Homestead. I am a nephew of Aunt Jan, and as you can see, I'm paying tribute to her today by wearing red, and she was a Ute follower. My mom and brother spent many games up at the University of Utah, and so grateful for her and her life. So we'll go ahead, and Chris, would you like to read the obituary for us?
Thank you. Janet Nuttall Hancey, July 27, 1935, December 2nd, 2020. Jan passed away peacefully in Brigham City, Utah. Jan was born to Floyd Dean Nuttall and Grace Jeanette Hunter on July 27, 1935. She grew up in American Fork, later moving to Salt Lake City, where she attended and graduated from LDS Business College. She earned her degree, and it led to a successful career in accounting while raising her children and providing a moist, warm, and receiving household. Her love and devotion to her children was unparalleled. Her friendships were sincerely genuine, and she truly loved those in which she shared in her life's path. She was married and sealed in the Salt Lake City Temple, but later divorced. Her unyielding devotion to her religion was a tenet that formed her spirit and soul. She took great pride in her service to God in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, at her local ward and stake, as well as her service at the Visitor Center in Temple Square. After a successful career with Chrysler Credit Corp, she remained active in her church callings and also as a concierge at the downtown Salt Lake Marriott. She had a 50-plus year fan love fest with the running Utes of the University of Utah. She She attended 5,746 Utes football and basketball games. Go Utes! She is preceded in death by her father Floyd, her mother Grace, her stepfather Robert Crookston, her sister Marilyn Homestead, and her daughter Holly Ann Hancey Burton. She is survived by her sister Nancy Crookston, her daughter Chris Kay, her son Steve Hancey, 6 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. Well done, good and faithful servant.
Bluetooth connected. I'm back again. I just wanted to say a couple things. Things that I remembered about Granny. My earliest memories of Granny growing up, she's always lived in the condos over in Pheasant Brook, and I remember going and picking strawberries at her first condo. I loved to pick the strawberries. They were delicious. And she had a really large vanity in her bathroom, and it had this stool, and you'd get up in the stool and like get all ready. So I'd play in her makeup, and she had a ton of perfume, so I always loved to put her perfume on. So I thought that was the coolest. She always had cute little toy cars at her house, which my kids still play with, and they're so cute. And I loved those, and I think she still has them at her condo now. We used to swim in the summertime at the pool at her condo. All my whole life growing up, I've taken my kids there several times, so we have spent a lot of time in that pool, and a lot of good memories there. I remember going there with my mom and Holly when I was really little, and swimming there like for hours on end. And then I've taken my kids there, and we swam all day, so that was always really fun. When I was a teenager, I'd go to the mall back when it was the old mall that was connected to the Marriott Hotel downtown, and I'd go visit Granny, and she would give me chocolates. They had the best chocolates at the Marriott. They were like minty, and they were so delicious. She'd give me a whole handful of chocolates. She worked at the restaurant. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, she worked at the restaurant there before she was up at the concierge, and so I'd go say hi. She'd give me mints. She always had those chocolates in her freezer too, so if you went to her house, she had chocolate in her freezer, and I think that's where I just learned to love chocolate. Granny had a lot of it, so I ate a lot of that when I was little. Her sweet potato casserole was always my favorite at Thanksgiving, and I've tried to make it, and it's not the same, so I'm not doing it right, but Granny's was the best. She was with me in the temple on the day that I got married, so that was pretty awesome. She went through and helped me through everything, and that was special to me that she was there. As I was married and having children, she'd be like, "Oh, Jody, are you having another baby? Why in the world would you want to do that?" And so number 4, when I was like, "This is it, Granny, this is it," she's like, "Oh, good, oh, good." I remember asking me that. And later in life, as Granny got older, I enjoyed just spending time with her. I always loved Granny. She was always a lot of fun, always made me laugh, always had some little funny comment to say, and I always remember her saying, "Go Utes." She was the hugest Utes fan, and we'll carry on that tradition for her, but I love her dearly, and I'm grateful that she was in my life. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'd like to just tell you maybe just a couple of things. I remember, as you know, Aunt Janet was a great Utah fan, and I remember one year we were able to get tickets to a game down in Provo against BYU, and that's the year that it was bitter cold, and I remember sitting in a Denny's before the game, and we had gotten there early, and the snow was falling, but the snow was falling horizontally. It was just bitter cold. The wind was blowing. But Aunt Janet, we went to the game, we sat through it, and it was cold. Fortunately, we won. But I remember years afterwards, she'd always say, "Barry, I don't think I could ever do that again. That was a cold day." The other thing I'd like to share with you is, I'm not sure a lot of people know this about Aunt Janet, but my mom was her sister, and my mom raised my brother and I. And there were times when my mom would get a little bit short on money, and Aunt Janet would come to my mom and give her a little bit of money to help her get through the month and to help us. And I found that out in kind of in a roundabout way. Janet kept that very private and very secret. but I've always been grateful for her doing that. And I'd just like to share that with you.
So I too would like to just share a few memories with Aunt Jan. She was always wonderful to be around. She always had something to share with me. I remember vividly going and picking her up in Pheasant Brook, and she said, "Okay, you're going to drive, and we'll go pick up Barry to go to the games." And I thought, oh, I don't want to, I'm not sure if I'd be driving her car, and she just make me drive her car. And then she got her brand new Subaru, and I thought, oh, she's not going to make me drive that car. And but yep, she did. She says, you get in there and drive that car. And I learned a lot from Aunt Janet about my mom, just as my brother just stated. The things that he shared, and the early years when they were teenagers, and the things that Aunt Janet would share that we never really knew about our mom. She shared those with us, and that was special to learn those things, and how close they were, and how much she cared about others, and especially her family. Not only her sister, but her children and grandchildren. She had a great love for each and every one of them. I know that when we'd be riding down to the game, and I'd say something about that team down south, and she'd say, don't say anything about them. I don't want to hear a word about that team down south. And I don't think she ever wanted BYU to win any games. So it was always fun to be with her and see how she would get a little bit upset and not want to talk about that, because she was just such a dedicated and avid Ute fan. I had some special times visiting her in the Beehive House these last few years. And boy, she could remember things from long time ago, but recently her short-term memory wasn't very good. But boy, she could tell me some stories, and she could share things from years ago with her family and with my mom and my brother and I. She was just a wonderful person, and I'm so grateful for her life and her example and the love and the care that she showed everyone. And I'd just like to share those comments with you. Thank you.
My name is Janice Dean Main. I first knew Janet Nuttall in 5th grade. We both had Mr. Sangren for 5th grade. We just loved Mr. Sangren. And Janet lived across the street from the school, and her mother made nice cookies, and after school we'd get to eat them. But Janet Nuttall said to me one day, she says, "Oh, I know this cute boy. His name is Doug Main. That's in 5th grade." Well, I said, I had no interest in boys at all. And so I put that out of my head. And a few years later, I found that he was a really cute guy. But Janet birthday was 3 days before mine. Oh, we did have fun. Shirley Christensen lived out on the highway towards Pleasant Grove, and one year we went out there and we had left school without permission, and there were about 15 of us, all girls, and oh, was that the most wonderful day. And when we got back, Charlie Walker, who we loved, who was the vice principal, he said, "You girls were out of school, weren't you?" And of course we said, "Oh, we had a good time." He says, "Well, don't do it again." And this girl here behind me is Marion Good, and she was a very popular girl in school, and she carried the American flag for the band, and everybody just looked up to her so much, and she's going to talk to me now.
Well, it's Marion Robison now. Can you hear me? Okay. A few of Jan's family I know, but I'd just like to recall a few other things in high school. I, too, knew Janet from about the 5th grade. And as you or family know, we're all old now. But a lot of the gals from that class stayed together, kept in touch with each other all these years, and ended up having a lunch bunch group. And we used to meet every 2 months or 6 weeks, have lunch together, get caught up on everybody's family and what everyone was doing. During the years after we graduated from high school and Janet had moved to Salt Lake with the group, some of us went to BYU, of all places, to go to school. After a year, we kind of separated. I happened to be going to Salt Lake to go to the University of Utah and needed a place to stay, and ended up rooming with Janet and her friends, Chris and Merm. And so for a few years, before we all ended up getting married, we lived there together. And I have to tell you, one of the funniest things I remember about Janet is after everyone was home from work or school, wherever we were, we had to find something to eat. And being teenage girls with nothing in the fridge, about 9 o'clock, we'd want to go out and get something to eat. Well, Janet would be in her pajamas, but she didn't care. She'd put on a coat and we'd go down the street. Well, down the street, she's singing the whole time. She's doing flips and she's doing cartwheels. Just having the best time and kept the happiest life. And we used to just laugh at her and tell stories about her. She was just the sweetest thing and kept us all happy and kind of united. We all went separate ways, got married, whatever. After my husband died, I got a call from Jan, and she said, "I guess you're not going to the U Games anymore." I said, "Well, no, now that Gary's gone, I don't have a partner to go to the games with." She says, "Well, come and go to the games with me. I've got Utah tickets for basketball and nobody to go with." So the last few years, my husband died 15 years ago, so for about the last 12 years or so, I went with Jan to all the basketball games. we'd meet in Salt Lake and go to dinner or have something after and go to the game together. And I felt really bad when she couldn't go to the games anymore. And lucky Randy and your brother, that Barry, I guess, that you were able to get those tickets. I hope you've still got them and that you're still enjoying the U games. But football, yes, I'm still going to the football games, still have my season tickets, and miss meeting Jan and her nephews at the football games. I just feel so bad, and all of us do, and out of our lunch bunch group, there are still 9 of us left. And I just want the family to know how much we love Janet, how much she meant to us, and I hope that all of you remember what a sweet, wonderful lady she was. Thank you. I didn't mean to go on so long, but I'm old.
Thank you for those comments, as well as I know that there's a lot of reflection going on, you know, with those who are here and that. So thank you for being here, and we'll now go ahead and have Barry Homestead dedicate the grave.
Our Father in heaven, by the authority of the Melchizedek priesthood, I dedicate and consecrate this burial plot for the body of Janet Nuttall Hancey, that thou would watch over and bless this sacred and hallowed ground till the morning of the resurrection. We'd also ask thee that those who would come here between today and then, that they would feel of the Spirit and have fond memories of Janet, and remember all the good things that she's done for so many and the many lives that she touched. This day I would also ask that thy Spirit would be with the family as we mourn the loss of her, that thy Spirit would comfort us and give us that assurance that one day we will see Aunt Janet again, and that where she's at now is a good place, and she's happy, and she's enjoying those relationships that she's had before. And we would do this, I would do this and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
This concludes the services for Janet Nuttall Hancey. You're welcome to spend a few more minutes here. I know that the cemetery is probably ready to do what they need to, but please feel free to spend a few minutes. Those who do have flowers or that want to lay them on the casket may do that. Thank you again so much for being here. It's been a wonderful day, a beautiful day, and I know Aunt Jan's been here with us and been a part of this, and I know that she's happy, and as Barry said, she's in a better place and with loved ones and family enjoying that association. So thank you for being here, and God bless you.